Hey guys, today I'm going to walk you through my Linux from scratch automatic build script and explain how each part works. I created this script with my notes and using AI to fully automate the process. I have here a big line of notes of everything how it needs to be done step by step, every single package for what I wanted, and some selected packages for my needs for the script. So we're going to start this script up. We're going to do the entire build process on a Fedora virtual machine that I have set up here, and we're going to be using this empty disk right here for the entire process. This is a very long script. The total script completion last time I run it took 2.5 hours. So yes, this is a very long script. I will be fast forwarding a lot of parts and explaining each part that prompts the user to change or add. So let's go ahead and get started with that. First, I'm going to be connecting to the virtual machine via SSH. I have here the IP. I'm gonna go ahead and just log into that. Yes. Put in your password. Okay, here we are logged in. I'm gonna log in as a root. Sudo -I. Oops. Okay, there we are. We are now at root. Just so you know, I'm going to be leaving the script in the description below in my GitHub page. Now let's continue here. I already added the script here in the root directory. So I'm going to go into cd / here it is. Now ls to open it up. I have here in the script, this is how it starts. We're gonna go into that directory, cd, I'm in that directory, and in here there are a few executables on what it's going to be doing. Everything resolves with the master build. This is what is going to do the entire build process. And there's also additional scripts in here that are actually needed for this process. If I go into that one, we can see here 7 more different scripts. But the only thing that we need right now to actually start the build is just this one, and we can continue to automate the process. So let's go ahead and just do that. I'm gonna clear the screen. I'm gonna go back, open it up again. I have tested the build in Ubuntu and it works, the script, and also on Fedora and other package manager. I added dependency to it. I will later update it if needed. So let's go ahead and just start it up. All these scripts are executable. You can make them executable by doing chmod +x. So let's go ahead and get started. /forward master, enter. Now this is the beginning of the script. It's a very long process. So just press enter to start. It will immediately check all the packages that are needed for the building process. This might take a little bit because it's checking if all the packages required to build the Linux from scratch are already here. Okay, there we go. It found all the packages. We have here a requirement check. It did okay to everything. For whatever reason, on different distro, this one gives me an error, but it's mostly like a false positive. So now that this part is done, this you can actually ignore it. This is actually okay. So now we will do the partition part. So now we need to enter the device to partition. In our case, it would be dev/vdb, as we can see right here. This is the one that we're going to be partitioning. So you just want to put it like this, /dev/vdb, and enter. And now you're gonna be prompted with the option if you want to make it into a BIOS method, UEFI, or both. Just for the purpose of this video, I am gonna choose both of them. Enter. Now it's gonna tell you, are you absolutely sure you want to partition this device? You're gonna type in yes to confirm and enter. Now it's going to create all the process, and this will continue. Now, as you can see here, it's now downloading all the packages that is required. You might see an error here that failed to mount. That's alright. We won't actually need that for later, as it says there. Now it's going to be downloading all the packages required to start building the Linux from scratch system. So now again, this will take a little while. So I'm just going to be fast forwarding all of these parts. Okay, so it downloaded all the required packages and it created the required directories for this. I'm actually going to put this in full screen. It's actually better to use this in full screen. Now we can see here it's prompting us to put a password. It created a user called LFS. In the documentation, it said that we needed to make this user. So I made it and I added to the script. So in here, we're just gonna add a simple password to it. I'm just gonna put 123, enter. You will be prompted that says bad password, but in this case, you can actually ignore it. So just put again, retype it again, 123 for me. And now this is going to continue compiling for the next maybe 20 to 45 minutes, depending on the resources of your system. Like I said again, this build will take approximately 2.5 hours or more, depending on your resources for the system that you have. So that's just started. Now it's going to be compiling everything. I'm just going to be fast forwarding this part. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Okay guys, we have reached the Wi-Fi configuration. It's telling us to enter the Wi-Fi SSID. This would be the Wi-Fi name. You can leave it blank or skip it. This scenario for the demonstration, I am not going to actually put anything, so I'm just gonna skip it. Just enter and skip it. But if you do put something, you just put the name, and once you put the name, it's gonna ask you to put the password for it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just skip this part and continue on. Now it's going to keep compiling the rest of the part. I'll see you in a bit. Okay everybody, once you reach this step, you can see here it says run glib test suite. As it says, this is slow but recommended. You can skip this. You might save yourself 15 to 25 minutes of script time, but for the purpose of this video, I am actually going to run this test. But again, if you do run this, it's recommended to actually do run all the required steps, even though you're doing this from scratch on an automatic script. So that's why I added it. So yes, we're going to run it, but if you skip it, like I said, you could save yourself 15 to 25 minutes. So let's go ahead and just run it, and we're going to continue on. Okay everybody, once you reach here, you're going to select your country and your origin. So in my case, it would be number 2 for me. Now press enter. Now you're going to select your country squad. I'm just gonna pick mine, which would be 38. And I would tell you that this is the one that's going to be used. Is the above information okay? You're gonna press 1 for yes. If not, 2, and then continue. Now here you're going to input it manually. In my case, I chose America for Puerto Rico. That's the one that I chose. Now I'm just gonna continue, enter, and the script continues. Okay, once you reach this step, this is the root password for your LFS system. So in here, you are required to put a password of at least 5 characters with upper and lower cases. So we're gonna put that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and put mine. I press enter. Now again to retype it, and there it has been created. Now it's going to continue the script. I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, once you reach here in Grub, you're going to select your paper size. Grub is basically a tool used to format text into readable documents. So usually from what I saw in the documentation, you would always use the default, which would be A4. So that's what I'm actually going to be choosing, A4, and enter. And now we're just going to continue again with the script. Okay guys, the script is almost over. Now we are in the network configuration. Now in here it's prompting us to select the network interface name. So in our case, since we are doing a virtual machine, let me just show it here. So in our case, the interface name would be, oops, let me just put that a little bit bigger, would be this one right here, EMP1S0. So in my case, I will need to put that. Let me just put this short for the time being, EMP1S0. Now enter. Now it's going to ask you for the IP address that you want to input. In my case, I did add some DHCP packages, so you could get a IP dynamically, but we're going to set this up as static just for the demonstration of this video. So in my case, the IP for this would be 15.15.25, and I'm gonna choose 123. Enter. Now the gateway for this, 15.15.25.1. Enter. And now the prefix, that could be 24. The broadcast would be, in this case, 15.15.25.255. Enter. Now it's going to be asking you for the name of the computer, in this case the host name. The viewers, they went with JeffOS. They need to use that name. Like for me, they chose that. So for host name, I'm just gonna pick the shorter version, JOS. Let's say this would be version 4. Oh no, wait, my mistake, version 5. You can really pick whatever you want. Enter. Now it's going to be asking you for the distro name. This is what the viewers chose, so I'm sticking with this. JFOS. Enter. Now the contact information. So basically here you just put your information, whatever you want. So just for the demonstration, I'm just gonna put this really short, JTTS. Enter. Now a mini name for this, JOS. Enter. Now the root partition for the device. So in our case, the root partition, now let's just refresh this part here, LSVLK. Now we can see new partitions have been created. The second one here, this is the EFI partition, and this is the main one. So in our case, it would be /dev/pdb3. Now we press enter, and now it's going to be extracting to the final steps, and then we will continue to the last step, which would be the Grub configuration. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just fast forward this part. Okay, so we have reached the Open Kernel menu config. So I already added in this part enable the required modulars that we need. So you can see the list of what's actually enabled. All of these with the check mark are already enabled. For virtual machine, we added everything that actually is enabled. If you do want to add more stuff, you can literally see right here. If you want to open the kernel menu config with the yes, it will open the menu over all the way here. Now there's one little cost. Do not open the menu if you have it like this. If you try to open the menu like this, it will crash the build. So be warned, do not say yes and open the menu like that. It will crash the script. You need to open this full screen because you will get an error that the menu is too small. In my case, I'm not gonna do any modifications, but I added that option if you wish to add more stuff. So we're gonna choose no and continue with the script. Okay everybody, we are now in step 138, the Grub installation. You can see that it detected boot mode from partitioning both. As I said in the beginning, I chose both BIOS and UEFI. So just pick your correct one once you're using the script. In my case, with both. Now just enter. Now it's prompting you to put in the BIOS Grub installation, the device. So in our case, let me just open this up here again so you can see. In our case for BIOS, you just need to put the dev device, which would be BDB in my case, not the partition, the device. So in my case would be forward dev forward VDV and just enter. And now it's installing. As you can see, it detected the partition. Now it's actually installing it. That will take a little bit. Okay, there it has been successfully installed. No errors reported. Install BIOS Grub to deb/bdb. Now enter the EFI system partition mount point. In this part, all you literally need to do is just type in BIOS EFI. So forward BIOS forward EFI and just press enter. You're going to get a warning here in a few seconds. Now for the bootloader, I put this part as default LFS. Now you put that. Now once you put in here the BIOS EFI and put this, you are going to get a warning. Now you can see there, it was a really quick warning, but the warning is that the modulars were not detected. So now it's going to recompile the modulars so it'll actually install it successfully. That will take a little bit, so I'm just gonna fast forward this part. Okay everybody, as you can see here, the EFI modulars has been rebuilt. It was completed. Now it was installing. No EFI barrel updates required. Here it is now installing. It finished it. Now here it created the directory. The Grub was successfully installed. Now we need to select our version. In my case, I did do version 12.4 of the book. So that is what I'm going to leave it at, 12.4. So once you click enter here, the build has been completed successfully. So the total build time is 2 hours and 24 minutes and 11 seconds. I added the build time because honestly, I would like to know how long it is. So now that it's finished, we're now actually going to boot up the system. That doesn't mean that we're already finished in this part. So I'm just gonna close this out, and now we're actually gonna try to boot up the system. We are going to get some errors and we're going to fix those errors. So far, this is how I have been able to fix my errors. So I have here on the right side some notes here to fix Grub errors. If you did BIOS, then you would choose this one. If you use UEFI, we would go with this one. In our case, we're going to be doing this method error because for whatever reason, so now the system has already been installed. So for whatever reason, it does not want to mount properly. So we're going to shut down the system. We actually don't need this anymore because right now the system is installed, if I'm not mistaken, on this too. We're gonna check here, BDB. So yes, it's this one. So now we're just going to disable this one, which is the one that has Fedora installed. And we're going to apply that. And now this too is the primary boot. So now we're going to start it. And now the system should boot. You can see right here it booted, but there should be an error. This is the error. Error file boot VM Linux not found. Press any key to continue. It's just gonna keep looping over and over again. You could try to edit it out by pressing E and change it. Even though it's the correct pad, it still does not work. So we actually need to fix this manually. So the only way that I found out to actually fix that manually, because the system is not corrupted, it's an issue. I am not 100% sure on how to fix it with using the automatic script. The method that I have found how to fix it is using this method that I have right here. So we're going to do that right now. So you just need a live ISO of any distro that you have available. So I'm actually going to be choosing here Linux Mint for this example. You can really choose whatever distro you have at your disposal. So I'm going to put that, I'm going to apply that. Boot options, that's going to be the main boot here. Put this in the front, apply that. Now let's just turn on the machine. And now we're going to be booting into Linux Mint. All that we're going to be doing is just following these steps. So let's just wait for this to load. Okay, so our live distro is loaded. Now we just want to go into your terminal. I have this right here. Now to have no permission issues, we're going to be doing root. So sudo-i, enter. Now we are root. Now we're going to do lsblk to see our disk. And here is our disk. This is not the one that we want. This is the primary Fedora. You can ignore that. So now we're going to be following the steps. So in here, we're going to be mounting the main disk. So in our case, the main disk would be VDV3. So mount, and we're going to be mounting it to the mount point directly. Enter. It has been mounted. Now we're going to be mounting our EFI. Our EFI would be the second one, which is this one of 512 megabytes, DDB2. So mount to boot EFI, enter. That has been mounted. Now we're going to continue the following steps. I'm going to make a directory called run, make one called EFI and EFI bars. So we're going to make those directories. Make directory /p run that has been created. Now let's make the other ones. The second one has been created. Now the last one, EFI bars, enter. Now we're going to do a mount bind, mount -- bind dev, mount /dev, enter. Now the same for the other one. And now the last one, which would be run. Okay, my mistake, I put it 2 times. I forgot about that. There we go. And now we're going to put this one here. Mount -t EFI bar. Whoops. Again, EFI. Now let's mount that as well. Okay, I think I put something wrong here. Here we go. I was missing the F. Now it's mounted. Now we're going to enter to our chroot /mount bin/bash. Now let's enter to our chroot. We're in bash. Now put in the next command, which would be source /etc profile. Enter. And now let's install the grub. Grub install -- Okay, there's the command. This would actually be more easier if I could do SSH, but I'm just doing it manually. So now you just want to enter that command. Now it's going to do again the installation at the EFI. And once that's done, you're going to run this command to remake the grub. So let's just wait for that. Okay, so installation has been finished. No errors reported. Now we're going to run grub -mkconfig -o boot /grub/grub.cfg. Now let's remake this. Enter. It's generating it. It found it. The entry has been added. Perfect. Now that the entry is there, now we're going to exit our chroot. And now we're going to actually remove a entry that is not needed because it will cause the system to fail. Now let's go back to our mount point, ls. Now let's go into cd boot grub, and let's go into the grub nano grub.cfg. Now we can see that it generated the grub. Now we want to scroll almost all the way to the bottom. Right here. So this entry right here, search -- no floppy, this entry, for whatever reason, having this entry will not let the system boot. We're going to delete that entry, and now we're just going to save it. Control X to exit. And yes, enter. Now we're done here. Now we're actually going to reboot the system. Now when you do try to boot the system in Virtual Machine Manager, be sure to select the UEFI that will be ending in this one, code.bin. This is the correct one to use. The other ones won't allow you to boot the system at all, at least from my experience. So I'm gonna just go ahead and shut this down. We already did everything that we needed to change. Now let's just force it off. Go back to the information of the disk. Let's disable this off. Oops, let's disable this off. Now let's boot up again the system. Now it's gonna take a little bit to load up. Now we can see it right there. Let's just enter. And now the system is loading. This is actually what we wanted to do. And now we can see here that it grabbed internet, and this one that it says ETH0 is actually the Wi-Fi, but I didn't add it. But you can see right here the name of the OS. So we have internet on this. Let's just log in, root, and the password that you set up. And now we're inside the system. You want to check for internet. We do have internet service. We have reply from the public DNS. I also added here wget to actually download packages. Now I'm gonna try to boot up the system in BIOS. Now since we fixed the UEFI, the BIOS should be okay, but it still has some issues. So let's just shut this down. Now let's open the BIOS one here. I have one already here, but I don't have it already configured, so I need to add here the correct disk. Let me just remove this. Now I need to add the disk that is selected from the other system. Okay, here it is. Yes, we want to use that. Okay, there I added it. Now this one is BIOS. So we try to put BIOS, we shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. If we still have issues, then we'll try again to change it with the BIOS method. Okay, so it booted, let's see. Okay, so we do have a kernel panic, so we need to change that. Let's try to boot that again. Let's go in E. So it says here BDB3. So the file here is BDA. So we need to switch that. So we need to change that here. Now if we do change that, it should let us log in. Do that and then Control X. And now we should be able to log in without any issues. So that didn't work. I'm gonna try that one more time. It could be that it did not save it. Let's try it one more time. Yes, so that was it. So it did not save it. So we need to do the same thing again. But in this case, we don't need to do the fix. We just need to change the device name. So let's go ahead and just add here to this. I already have here this. I'm gonna use Fedora for this one. It really doesn't matter. We just need a live disk. Put that as first. Apply. And let's just log in. Okay, now we're in the live boot. Not now. We don't need this. We just need to go into the terminal. Here we are. Let's go into the sudo terminal and the root one, lsblk. Here's the disk, BDA3. So let's just mount that. Mount dev BDA3 to the mount point. Now we go into there. Now we're going to modify the boot in the F tab. So cd boot grub nano grub.scg. Now it's going to scroll almost to the bottom. Here it is. And now the same thing, we're gonna do it with the F tab. cd back again, cd etc. No, not there. This one here, nano F tab. Now we can see here it's using the wrong one. Now this one is for the EFI. You can leave that alone since we're doing BIOS. And now change it. Now you can just turn this off. Now if we try to boot again into the system, it should let us boot with no issues whatsoever. Now here we are. And I'm gonna get like an error message, but now we're actually in the system. Again, some stuff does not work correctly. Like now you can see that it doesn't have internet because the interface name changed, but we are able to log in into the system now. See, so this changed to EMS3. So we would need to change that manually, but now you have the system working up. Okay guys, and that was it. I hope you found this educational and helpful for you. I did do this by scratch by reading the documentation and got so intrigued into it, so I wanted to make a script out of it. I just didn't think it was gonna take such a long time, with about almost 2 weeks, and the script taking around 2 hours to finish. But yeah guys, I really hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, any comments, like, subscribe guys, and I hope to see you in the next one guys. Bye guys, have a good one, enjoy the rest of the day.